This is the cool part. This is the cool part of the job. Lots of lives are going to be saved by these people. Lots of lives.
This is Lillian Bonsignore, the Fire Department of New York's very first female and openly gay EMS chief in the organization's 154-year history.
I talk about my wife openly, so it's okay that we have this conversation. I'm comfortable with it. I think there are lots of folks that need examples and role models that need to know that whatever box somebody is willing to put you in doesn't mean you have to live there.
Lillian started out as an emergency medical technician on an ambulance in the Bronx 28 years ago, and since she's worked her way up to the highest-ranking position. She now runs the largest emergency medical system force in the entire United States. Her team's a part of the fire department, but these folks are paramedics and EMTs. They work on ambulances, respond to 911 calls, and provide on-the-scene medical care.
That means there are 4,000 plus EMTs and paramedics that staff our ambulances, that service our 5 boroughs, and my job is to oversee that and make sure that we are providing the highest level of medical care to those people who need us the most.
Everybody clear? Clear, Joey? Everybody clear? Continue CPR.
Born and raised in the Bronx, Lillian says she had a tough childhood and credits her success to a few key women in her life.
Along my way, very strong women just magically found themselves in my path, and they decided to take an interest in a kid that needed help and, you know, maybe was a little broken growing up in a tough neighborhood with difficult circumstances.
It was actually Lillian's pediatrician who suggested she become an EMT.
I didn't know what an EMT was, but I trusted her with everything that I had. And I took this job for the summer, and it's been 28 years, and it's the longest summer job I've ever had.
She moved up the ranks in the Bronx and Brooklyn to lieutenant, captain, and station commander. Along the way, she became an instructor at the EMS Academy and endured the grueling paramedics training. She was also among the first responders during the terrorist attacks on 9/11. When Lillian was 30 and serving on the force, she came out as gay. She's now married and has 2 daughters.
There have been a couple of men who maybe believe that a woman's place is not in the fire department, and they don't really appreciate maybe an alternative home situation, but that is their issue to come around to. That's not really my concern, but I will save their lives as quickly as I would save the life of the woman that I've loved for 18 years.
After 28 years of service in May 2019, Lillian was promoted to the fire department's chief of EMS, serving the entirety of New York City.
Today I can stand here and accept a promotion to the highest position in FDNY EMS, even though I'm a woman. Today I can stand here next to the woman that I love and enjoy the spirit of this special day, when there are more places in this country that you could be fired for being a member of the LGBT community. Those females that are out there and didn't have a role model and didn't have somebody to say that, yes, this is a possibility for you, now they do. And I take that responsibility on wholeheartedly.
But Lillian isn't entering the role at the easiest of times. Call volume is up, having risen 4.6% from 2017 to 2018. EMS responded to a record-breaking 1.5 million 911 calls last year. EMTs are making the move to higher-paid positions like firefighting at a staggering rate. And response times across EMS in New York City have risen to life-threatening heights.
This is a very tough job. It is something that people don't really recognize. Sometimes they think of EMS as being ambulance drivers, but the reality is the things that EMS people see in their jobs, let's say over the course of a month, maybe things that people will never see in the course of their lifetime.
Lillian says her EMTs and paramedics are also facing a growing array of daily issues. Long hours, assault from patients with infectious diseases, and sometimes dangerous service locations. She's on a mission to make the public aware of these realities and honor those who take on the sacrifice.
These people come every single day with a smile on their face, knowing that these challenges exist, and they work to push past these things just because they know it's right.
As for Lillian, she loves the job and plans to use her new position to lift up young folks in her community struggling like she once was.
We have a very high suicide rate in the young LGBTQ community, and they need us. They need somebody to invest in them like These women invested in me. It was truly life-changing. And if you think a few minutes doesn't matter in somebody else's life, I could tell you that you're wrong. If you think that if you invest heavily in somebody who's struggling, that they won't appreciate it or it won't guide them to success, I could tell you that you're wrong. Because the only reason that I'm here today is because that happened.